Hi, this is Mike Burrows with B&B Financials. Want to thank you for taking a minute out of your day to take a look at our business. I hope you can get excited about this. It's a pretty unique way to make some residual income. And this is the outline that I'm going to cover right here. What is an authorized user on a credit card? How does an authorized user show up on a credit report? Why are customers willing to pay? And so on. This is the outline I'm going to cover. So an authorized user, maybe you've never heard of it, maybe you have, but generally, a husband will put a wife on his credit card as an AU, authorized user, or vice versa. The wife will put the husband on. Employers will put employees on their cards as authorized users so they can buy gas in the company truck. But parents have been actually doing this for decades. They put their children on their credit card as an authorized user, thus giving their children a credit boost. So that's what we do here. We boost people's credit. Now, the first thing I want to cover is the difference between credit repair and credit boosting. Okay, credit repair is when someone has damaged their credit because they didn't pay their bills or have collections or whatever the case is. Those people need to go through credit repair. That's different than this. We help the other side of the market out, people that have no credit. So who are those people? We're talking about young people who just got out of college, or maybe your grandparents, that old guy who never ever had a credit card his entire life. Those people are risky for the bank. They've never built credit. Or maybe a foreigner who comes over from another country needs to buy a car to go to work, but he has no credit history because he's from another country. So the first thing I'm going to show you here is my personal credit report. Now, this is Credit Check Total. I run my credit report on here. I'm going to pull up my Barclays card right here. Now, this is the key to the entire business. All right, look real close and focus on what you're looking at here. What reports on a credit report, unbeknownst to most of us, is just the limit, the balance, the month and year it was opened, the ownership, which is the individuals, my card, and the perfect payment history. And that's it. Nowhere on here do you see my name, my date of birth, my social security number, my credit card number. So take another look at this, because again, this is the key to the entire business. All I'm going to do is allow this little snapshot to show up on somebody else's credit report. And here's what I mean. Now, this is my wife's credit report, and I run her on Credit Karma because it's a free site. And let me pull that card up, because Jessica is an authorized user on that credit card. What does that mean? It means it's not her credit card. It belongs to me, but she's an authorized user on it. So when I pull this card up, look what reports on Jessica's report. The limit of the card, the balance of the card, the ownership, which she's an authorized user, and the perfect payment history. Do you see anywhere on here where it says Mike Burrows, date of birth, social security number, or credit card number? And the answer is no. Nothing of value actually shows up on a credit report. So what I'm going to show you is, why would a customer be willing to pay for this information? Well, here's one of our actual customers. Okay, this young man, his name's Charles, he just got out of college and he wanted to buy a car. Look at the date here, January 4th. So what you're going to see on his credit report, this is his actual credit report, and you're going to look at all these inquiries. These are credit inquiries: Cardinal, Ally, First Merit, HNB. And you won't find these on his credit report, meaning he got denied for them. He wanted to buy a car, but he couldn't get approved because he has no credit history. But what is on his report are 4 of these things: Department of Education loans. 1, 2, 3, 4. And his report ends. And he actually has a 699 on Experian, a 686 on Equifax, and a 686 on TransUnion. He actually has almost a 700 credit score, but he couldn't get approved or anything because he has no credit history. So now he comes to us, and look, this is his report pulled just 7 days later. Let's see what's on his report now. First thing that's going to show up, Bank of America. Well, where did that come from? Well, what I did is I contacted my cardholder, and I said, put this kid on your credit card, on your Bank of America card. Charles Crowther, date of birth, social security number. And when he did that, now that person's payment information shows up on his credit report that quick. So look at this card, $25,000, open in 03. Now, do you see my cardholder's name, date of birth, social security number, credit card number anywhere here? And again, the answer is no. So now we scroll down, you'll see his Charles, 4 education loans. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I put them on my personal Discover card, $11,000, $98 balance, perfect payment history. And look at this, in 7 short days, 770 on Experian, 740 on Equifax, 747 on TransUnion. So now this kid has a much higher credit score with the key ingredient, credit history. You can look at the date here, third report I pulled. I waited a couple weeks. Third report I pulled, a couple weeks for everything to go through. But the first thing you're going to see in this credit report now is Ally Financial. 75 months, $22,349 a month. This young man now has his own car in his own name, building his own credit history, did not need a cosigner. Now, he clearly could not do this before he came to us. And I mean, this kid probably would have had a 750 credit score anyway. It just would have took him 3, 4, or 5 years to build. Instead, he came to us and he purchased it in 10 days. Pretty awesome. So now I'm going to show you how do you add an authorized user. Well, let me go to my personal Chase card here. I'm going to log in it under my Chase account. I click on up top Customer Center. I click on Add a User. And I have 3 Chase accounts. I got to pick which one. And you can see right here, I put in the name Charles Crowther, address, and I hit enter. And that's it. That's how easy it is to add an authorized user. Now, when I first started this business, I had 3 major concerns, which is usually the 3 questions that everybody has. Number 1, can it hurt my credit score? And I was concerned with that. But you can see if we go back here, I am personally running 13 credit cards myself. Cabela's, Discover, Sears. I'm putting users on all of these credit cards right here. And I still have, as you can see, a 755. Now, when I started this, I think I had like a 780, somewhere in that area. But I opened a whole bunch of new accounts, so my score dipped just a little. But the effect to a credit score is minimal, if any. So the second question I had, which was the most important, was can people spend money on my credit cards? Well, I want to explain logistically what happens when you put a user on your card. If you put me, Mike Burrows, on your Discover card, what happens is Discover sends a credit card to you, and it has my name on it. Now, it's not my credit card. It's your credit card. But the card can only be delivered to the primary account holder's address. So when you get the credit card, you just you throw it away. You don't ever give it to the authorized user. The only way somebody can spend money on your account is if you physically hand the credit card to them. And that's it. So the last question I had is, wow, this sounds too good to be true, but is it legal? And what I looked up is there's actually a federal bill protecting us called the Fair Credit Reporting Act of 2008, which was revised in 2012. And what happened here is FICO score, maybe you've heard of it, they were going to put a stop to this back in 2008 because they know what's going on. But they said they were going to stop reporting authorized users. But when they said that, all the women's rights groups marched to Washington and put a stop to it because generally, not always, but generally, the authorized user is the wife in a household. The majority of them are, and that would have really hurt, the women's credit scores all around the country. The other thing the credit report covers, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, is you can put anybody you want on your credit cards. It would be discrimination if they told you no, you couldn't put someone on. However, the bill says that you are responsible for all the charges that the authorized user makes. Now, in this scenario, it's the perfect storm because the authorized user never gets the credit card. So how many users can you put on a credit card? Well, if you call Citi Cards, you can put 20 users on a month. Discover, 10 users per month. Barclays, 99 users per month. But what we do here at B&B Financials is we put 3 users on a credit card every other month, and here's why. The only risk in this business to a cardholder is if the bank thinks that you're making money off of them, because they don't like that, they're sharks, they can turn your credit card off. Now, if you get a credit card turned off, it doesn't hurt your credit in any way. It just means that account is turned off and you'd have to reapply for a credit card. Now, some of them you can reapply the same day. and some of them make you wait 6 months to a year. But that's why we are very conservative and only put 3 users on a card every other month instead of putting 10 users on every month, because we don't want the credit card to get turned off. I mean, if your credit card does get turned off, you and we cannot make money on that card. So we are very conservative. Now this is our website, bnbfinancials.com, and I want you to see here the information that we take. Notice that we take Barclays, open in 4 of 15, $3,800 limit, and closing on the 6th. That's it. We do not, nor would we ever, take your credit card numbers. All we need is this non-valuable information. Citibank, 7,600 open to 4 of 15. And with that non-valuable information, we can go out and find the customers to put on your cards as authorized users. Now, we pay out depending on the limit of the card. We pay $50, $60, or $70 per user. That's any limit under 10,000 is 50 per user. Any limit over 10,000 is 60 per user. Any limit over 20,000 is 70 per user. So if we put 3 users on each card, that means we're paying $150, $180, or $210 per credit card. So, and we also pay residual referrals. So if you look at the order history here, this website, by the way, keeps track of all the commissions. It keeps track of all the customers. We do all the work. We find every customer. We'll keep track of everything. We just tell you when to put the users on, and we tell you when to take them off. But you can look here. This gentleman, on his own personal cards, he made $200. But this guy has referred about 7 or 8 people. And look, on his referred, this month he's made $2,520. And the reason that is because when he refers somebody and that person makes, say, $500 a month, I pay him $250. Every time I pay his referral, I pay him 50%. And there's actually increments you can actually get paid more than that. We also pay upfront referral fees just for referring people into the system. So I'm sure you may have some other questions. This video was only meant to just to give you a generalized idea. If you do have questions, please give me a call. I'll be happy to answer them for you. If you're ready to get going, get with the person who showed you this video, and they can show you the next step in the process.